I was furious about no one going up to Bostic or doing anything. But then I thought about it. These guys ain't built that way. And look, there's a point where you have to allow people to show you who they are. And this is a offensive line full of guys that didn't expect to be playing, that doesn't understand the gravity of that moment. And I had to kind of sit back and say, if Tyron Smith, Zach Martin, Travis Frederick, Lyle Collins were out there, it would have been a different result. So I absolved that offensive line. They all went to see if Andy Dalton was okay. And you could tell that was green and being young. And then Amari Cooper, Gallup, and CeeDee Lamb, everybody talking about that. Receiver trying to get no smoke with that linebacker. That's just the bottom line, G. I know people want a better answer, but this team ain't built that way. And they showed you that during that moment in that game. And a lot of other moments this season, to be quite frank.
I would ask you then, if that was Dak Prescott lying there, and he was the one who got hit in the head like that instead of Andy Dalton, do you think it would have been different?
Probably, because Dak is looked at completely different. And maybe you do look at the reality is you look at Dak Prescott totally different than you look at Andy Dalton or for anybody else on that team for all intents and purposes. The second thing is this, G. When we start having a conversation about what should you do, you should go up to Bostic and it should be an all-out brawl. That's what should happen.
Yep.
That's what most football players that I've ever played with would have done. That's what guys that I played with in Dallas would have done. But trying to come up with a reason why these guys didn't do it, I don't have one outside of the fact that they are not built that way. This team is operating in a way that we haven't seen in a long time. You can be bad in football, but you also can be bad in how you approach football. And this team has been bad in how they approach football, and this is another example of how bad they've been.
Let me ask the offensive lineman. Jeff Saturday, what was your reaction?
Oh, it disgusted me, man. And listen, I get they're young guys and they haven't played with anybody, man. From Pee-wee on, if you're an offensive lineman, your number one job is to protect that dude behind you. You love to run the ball. You love to get in there with your running back and make big plays and do all the everybody wants to go. It's a physical battle. But at the end of the day, everybody knows the guy behind you. I don't care if it's Dak Prescott, Andy Dalton, you keep naming them. When you and listen, there ain't any fans in the building. So you heard that hit. As you're blocking, you heard, even if you're involved in the block, as soon as you hear that, you turn around and you see that dude standing over your quarterback, you're going at it, man. Katie barred the door, bro. It's on. We're gonna go do this, fines, whatever. This is all gonna happen because that's what you do. You play for the guy beside you. You play for the guy behind you. This is 53 individuals. There's no team in this thing. Everybody's going to look around and see. I mean, at some point, this should have been the rally cry for the team. We won't let this kind of stuff happen. So I ain't absolving them. I have issue with that. I haven't agreed with Mike McCarthy on anything this season. I do agree with that. I would have stood there dumbfounded. I don't get it. I don't understand it. You don't get a pass for this from an offensive lineman.
Rex said this yesterday. Go ahead, Marcus, real quick.
To Jeff's point, if you run the video back, you could see the offensive lineman didn't know what to do. Head spinning.
Yeah.
They didn't know what to do. They looking like they going provide medical attention as opposed to going get with Bostic. I'm telling you that these guys did not relate to what me and Jeff Saturday relates to as football players. Look at the clip. After this hit, look at the offensive linemen and how all of them go up. Well, we didn't show it. They go up to check on Andy Dalton. It never crossed their mind, in which most football players it does, we about to go fight. It never did.
Yeah, Rex said yesterday he would have been coming off the sideline as the coach to get into a fight there. Speaking of the Cowboys here, Dan, I mean, we are in the week of the trade deadline.
Yes.
If this thing continues to go south, I mean, what options do you think Jerry Jones has, both short-term and long?
Yeah, at the trade deadline, not much. This isn't like a couple of years ago when they made the trade for Amari Cooper, and that turned out to be the one piece that unlocked their offense and carried them to a division title. They need a lot more than that. So they could look at selling off some pieces. I think Everson Griffin, the pass rusher. I think they're getting calls on Michael Gallup, the receiver. I'm not sure they're going to want to do that. But in terms of the short term, the guys they have are going to have to get better, and they're going to have to get Zach Martin and those guys back.
All right, so we will figure that out. Again, they're still in the thick of it, unbelievably, in that bad division. Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.